te wā. Tūtaki taki ana I te wāwahi papu. Taku iti, taku pona mu. Perara wai te are are o te wai. Takiri ana te hihi o tamanui. Hei rama I te ara.
Te reo o te iwi.
Ko aukaha, ko tōku tūranga waiwai.
Aukaha, ngā kaupapa ārohe.
Aukaha, tōku tino rangatira.
Ko aukaha, ko ngā rangatira o a pōpō.
Aukaha, te tai pūkōrero.
Wā ka tauha whakatau ko te rangi etu nei, ka tauha whakatau ko te papa e takoto nei, ka tauha whakatau ko te taumata kōrero o ngā mātua, kua mine ki te pō ka tihei, mauri o rei ngā iwi o te motu, nau mai hoki mai rā. Welcome back to the Taumata Kōrero Live, the podcast, the quintessential space to disseminate a little bit of esoteric knowledge. I am the man back in his house, Mr. Raniera Harrison, ready to drop some bombs for you all this evening. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, the third day, te rātua toru o te wiki o Te Reo Māori, rua manu, rua e kau mātahi. We have a treat for you all. We are talking tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Māori music. Now, in the wings, I have three of the most hottest tickets in the Māori music market waiting to come in and drop some esoteric knowledge, disseminate a little bit of esoteric knowledge for you all. Let's bring them on in e hoama. Who do we have in the building? Let's go. Mr. Melodownz, Mr. Chey Milne, and the ever so beautiful, last but not least, Ria Hall. E te whānau, tēnā koutou katoa.
Tēnā koe. Tēnā koutou.
Me timata pēr ki a koe. Let's kick it off with you, brother Melo. Let's just go around and break the ice. Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from, and all that sort of thing, bro.
Cool. Yeah. So my name is Bronson. I go by the artist name Melodownz, and I'm an artist, poet, rapper, and yeah, I'm from a village in West Auckland called Avondale originally. But I'm also Ngāpui. I come from the Wihongi whānau in Kaikoui. And my Samoan side's from Apia, Vaitaloa, and Vaimoso, which is in Apollo as well. So I'm a bit of a hybrid when it comes to culture. I'm also part English by way of colonization. That's why I got the light skin. So, but yeah, it's a blessing to be here. And for the introduction, thanks, man. Like, I'm still new to this Māori journey. And like, so this is like a big step for me to come and talk to these solid as individuals. So thanks for having me.
I'm actually in alert level 2 conditions in Whangarei, and I can hear all of Wihongi Road shouting with joy when you said that you were from Kaikohe, brother. Everyone's going, yay, yay, that's our man. That is our man. Now let's cross over to someone who actually spent a bit of time in Kaikohe. E te tuakana, Chey Milne, kei a koe te wā.
Ai, tēnā koe te rangatira, Raniera o tira kōrua, kei a rangatira. Bronson, taku tuahine Ria, kua roa tātou e mōhio ana ki a tātou, oana nōku te waimari, nōku te whiwhi, kia whai wāhia mai ki tēnei pāpāhotanga o tātou. Pal, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you, bro. 2 points. Bro, first and foremost, the photo that you used of me to promo this did no favors, pal. It was quite terrible. It was a cropped in, like, oh my God. And then you had Ria's professional ass photo and Melodownz is Melodownz. And then number 2, you got me on the music thing. I've been in the music industry for like 5 minutes. I was like, come on, man.
It's been a good 5 minutes.
Last night's panel.
It's going to be a good 5 minutes, and we're going to get into that. It's been a good 5 minutes. And hey, and just a disclaimer, e te whānau, that was the photo on the Arataua website.
yeah, I know.
On your company's website. So I thought, oh, sweet. Must be all good to use it. Kia huri kia koe te tuahine. Kia huri pia kia koe te tuahine e Ria, kai a koe te wā. Kia ora.
Tēnā tātou katoa, tātou kua rarau mai nei ki tēnei kaupapa tātou. O tira ia, kai a koe rāniera, nāwi tuku te karanga kia hara mai, te wānanga tahi, ki tō koutou nā taha, nā reira e hika tēnā koe. O tira tēnā hoki kōrua, Bronson kōrua ko Brother Chey. It's wonderful to be here. It feels like it's been a minute since I've done anything like this, so thank you for having me on this kaupapa. I'm keen to get into some kōrero, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, now we've got the ice breaking and all the mihi-mihis and the formalities out of the way. Let's get down to business, like the great Eminem once said. I've got no time to play around. What is this? Ria, quick reflections. Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori 2021. How's it been going for you?
Well, every day it's the kaupapa for me. I'm actually in full immersion, in a full immersion space every single day, getting my Te Reo Māori fix on my own journey. And so, yeah, just mihi ana ki te whare wānanga o Waikato, ki Tauranga. So that's my buzz at the moment. So I've been fully in it for the last half a year. Still got a couple of papers to do, but yeah, no, it's been mean. It's been great to see the amount of coverage that Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori has had, the amount of coverage Mahuru Māori is having as well. So the more Māori, the better.
Ka pai. Peoti koe te tuakana e Chey, how's Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori been going for you, my bro?
Yeah, it's a weird one, eh, bro? Back in the days when Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori was around, it was an awesome kaupapa, but to be fair, bro, and hala this might come across as a bit whakahihi. I'm not actually trying to be whakahihi. Kei te noho mātou i ro Te Reo Māori, ia te rā. Ko taku whānau, koera Te Reo Kōrero i te kāinga. Nō reira, hei harai te mea, e rangi kia puta ki waho ahau i te whare, koera, ka whakanui mārika i Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori, kia tahuri mai, ngā iwi kia tātou, kia pāpāhoi ngā kupu hou ki o tātou whanaunga. Just so our new, it's awesome to see all the new kupus on IG and all that sort of stuff, but mō tōku a mō whānau, ka rekau he rere ke tanga o tēnei wenerei, ki te wenerei ko hori atu nei, me te wenerei ka tū mai nei, nō reira, he pēra, he atāhua.
Tēnā koutou. Bro, speaking about IG, and I want to throw to you, Brother Melo, what does it feel like to see something like a smash hit like pai, the literal translation of fine, being put on social media? Like everyone's social media that I'm going on, you know this, cuz that must be, and for the man responsible for that must be an out of it feeling, bro.
Man, it really makes me feel grounded and proud of what's in my blood, because I was raised in Avondale, like more on my island side, my Samoan side, I should say. And so like to have a song out there where all of our people up north and that down south and that can like jam and like resonate with it because they're proud because it's in our language. It just makes me feel proud and just like privileged to be able to do that for our people. And even that's just like the door opening for my new journey and trying to learn my language as well, because I got brought up quite, I wouldn't say plastic, but just like quite urban.
True, bro.
And so, yeah, it's cool. I feel like I was quite lucky to get this opportunity to even translate a song like that. And it was pretty hard. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yep.
It was like, because everyone was like everyone was singing, like, and so when you sing, you can hold the note, like the words, whereas mine's like a really fast rap. So shout out to Hannah, shout out to the sis that translated it, and she did it in a way where she told me everything about what she's translating into. Because when I first started, I just thought it was gonna be translated into like literal, like literally what the word means. But man, when we talk about like the poho kereru and the fiki and like the power of those words, I was like, honestly, almost had me in tears, to be honest, because like
Wicked.
I didn't realize the song could get even deeper than that as in English. Then when you think about like saying strong in English, whereas when you say wairu or mana, it's just got 1,000 different meanings, like layers upon layers. Where when you say one word in English, it just means that word. So it's just like, wow, it's so poetic and such a rich language. And I was just like, that's what I learned from translating it. And so that's why I'm so grateful. Yeah.
Bro, let's talk. Let's bring the other two in and talk about that concept of reconnection. Like I know Ria has spent a bit of time in the capital in Wellington, like all of these major cities. Chey's obviously spent time in Auckland working in production and the like. Now moving back to these smaller regions. What's the impact? How does that impact like that space to reconnect? How does that come out in our music? Obviously, music is your guys' chosen, preferred outlet to. It's your thoughts, it's your feelings, it's your emotions, it's your being. Let's throw over to you, Ria. How have you seen your music change since along your own journey of reconnecting back to and now where you are today?
Yeah, the patai pai tēnā. So I'm in Tauranga Moana, which is where I come from, obviously. I was born and raised here. So already in terms of the journey, there was already a strong connection to my moana, my maunga, my iwi, hapu. And so coming back from after being a decade in Wellington and then coming back to Tauranga, it was like kind of slipping into a nice pair of slippers that I hadn't worn in years. It felt good and it felt familiar. And so being able to kind of use all the narratives that I've already that are around me intrinsically to inform my music, the direction that I go in, and it's just always been the base that I draw from, I suppose. Like every single composition or every kind of every work that I do is all based on, well, my foundations are firmly entrenched here. And so I try to use that as the springboard for my creativeness and whakaaro to come out. So, yeah, I suppose this place is the place that has birthed all of my music, really, if I think about it from the holistic perspective, yeah.
Yeah. Let's go over to you, Brother Chey. Like you would have, like when I first knew that you had a musical bone in your body, I heard you were rapping on Pukana, bro. And then now, last week you came out and you blew Te Reo Māori away with 5 or 6 straight bangers. Talk to me about that process and that journey, bro.
Yeah, it's actually really cool to hear Bronson's backstory, bro, because believe it or not, bro, you and I have a lot in common. From up north, but my mum, we have Samoan whakapapa. We connect into Apia as well. We're from Tufuiopa, which is just past, just out of Apia there. And if you had asked me 15 years ago where I'm from, I would have said I'm from Manurewa and Otara. I'm from Southside. I was born and raised in Auckland. And it wasn't until my teenage years that my mum and my whānau moved back and we really reconnected to our taitokerotanga. And that was the impact, and that's kind of been the impact on my music, if that's the question, and that's why, like, a lot of the people that I hang out with, a lot of my whānau, my circles and stuff now are quite shocked at like me coming out with a rap album, but like, bro, being a boy in the 90s in Otara, there was only rap, and you were only tagging, and you were only breakdancing or whatever, and my Māori side, even though I went to Kuro Māori and everything like that, was kind of like my side hustle, for lack of a better term. So that's been the impact on my music. So yeah, coming out like last week, It was real refreshing, and that's those sorts of flavors, those sorts of kōrero as well. Come out of my music as well, about being urban Māori, about the urbanization of our people, about disconnected, and the impacts that colonization has had on us, bro. So bro, that's been the coolest thing, bro, because I didn't tell anyone I was gonna do this album other than my wife, and I didn't get any pute or anything like that. I just did it all myself in my room, bro. So I don't have to ask anyone, or no one needs to tell me, oh, bro, you shouldn't say that, bro, because it's kind of touchy. So just it is what it is, bro. So it's been cool.
Good on you, brother. I'm happy for you, man. That's solid.
Let's keep that conversation going, because I think we're starting to get somewhere when we talk about urbanization and urban Māori. If I can stay with you, Chey, why do you think is that the reason that you think that a 6-track Te Reo Māori, 100% Te Reo Māori album resonates with people like these kids in the 90s, bro? If you look on all of these 90s kids on Instagram, all of their stories, Chey Milne, Chey Milne, Hinatore iti Chey Milne, quick one, te mea, te mea, te mea. Why does this fusion of rap and Te Reo Māori, high level quality Te Reo Māori, resonate with us so much?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, to be fair, bro. And it's not 100% Te Reo Māori as well, bro. I'm like, I speak probably just as much Pākehā as I do. Oh, maybe not, actually. It's probably like 85, 15%. I don't know, bro. But I don't know, to be fair, bro. I just make music that I like to listen to, bro. And it's probably just like Bronson and Ria. I'm not trying to make anything else, I'm just trying to make music that I want to have on my own playlist. and so that's kind of been my jam, and it's been cool that other people like it. I've got a little image, my marketing portai on. I've got an image. I've got some people that I know might like it, and that's cool. That's pretty much my whānau. And then you tū it's been pretty cool. A bit of a bonus.
I want to keep our conversation moving along. And I'm going to throw a curveball to you three. Tīmata pēr ki a koe, Ria, kia whai wāhi mai te katoa ki te whai a koe. The state of Māori music, 2021. How are we going? Where are we?
Again, big question.
Here she goes. Tell us something.
Thought, and it requires a bit of adjustment of the seat. Well, I suppose I can only really speak from my experience and what I'm seeing at the minute. So, where I sit in terms of what I do in the Te Reo Māori music spaces, I try and take a two-pronged approach. So, like we were discussing earlier, I try and fuse the fact that we can create bridges, that we can make bridges to understanding with tangata tiriti and tangata whenua. And I'm real big on that. That's half of the reason why I'm actually in this industry, is because I believe that music is the perfect vehicle in which we could create those bridges. And so, Pekka, how do I answer this question?
Let me throw it to Melo, and we'll come back to you. Let me throw it to Melo. What do you reckon, bro? Like, seeing since the time that you've engaged with Pai and you've seen how Pai has spread like wildfire, how do you see the state of Māori music coming in, being involved in this space?
I definitely think like the last, couple years, I've seen it take more of a mainstream turn in terms of like the Lord's got a Māori album. Like, not in 1,000 years I would have thought about that. Like, I still don't have like quite the opinion yet, because I'm still processing a lot of this thing because I'm so new to the scene and stuff. Like, I remember I dropped my first EP and it got nominated for is it the Waiata Awards or the Māori Awards? Yeah, I got nominated for that. And when I went, I felt how do I explain it? Like, I felt like I had imposter syndrome because I've been so disconnected with my culture. I'm like, man, these guys are probably looking at me like, this guy's not Māori. Is this guy Māori? Like, because not many people actually knew that I was Māori. So it was kind of a bizarre experience for me at the time, because I felt like, oh, should I even be here, kind of thing. But then it's like, man, it's in my blood. So to answer your question, I think it's very progressive right now, especially like with like these young ones jamming like more hip song, like Benny's translating her songs, and that's more in like a pop realm and things like that. Especially them being Pākehā as well. It's quite I think it's quite a new thing that I think we need to adapt to, or I don't know if the word's accept, or I don't know what the word is, but but yeah, it's very for me. It's very progressive. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
is that not a sad indictment that some of our Māori creatives, some of our artists, our composers, our songwriters, our singers, our artists are feeling this imposter syndrome? Are we not selling ourselves short as a Māori music industry, people who could potentially provide the solution, the musical audio solution to all of our world's problems, the emancipation of Te Iwi Māori, and yet they're suffering from this imposter syndrome? Chey, what's your thoughts on that sort of thing, bro?
Bro, I reckon that's in the Waiata Āmine, bro. You had that on your intro, bro. You know, disconnection, bro. That's a makutu, and that's colonization, bro. And it's still it's hegemony, bro. But just to go back to your whakaaro around where are we at Waiata Māori, I don't know. I reckon I'm more interested in where we at in our own minds for Waiata Māori, because
talk to me about that, bro.
There's 21 iwi radio stations, bro, and if all of them decided to play only Māori music all the time, then we would be a lot higher in the charts than where Te Reo Māori Waiatas are right now. I reckon there are you know, for example, bro, like Te Nutu, bro, we did a song, bro, that got 3 million hits on YouTube in I don't know, a few months, bro. And I don't care if you're Lord, that's pretty cool. And bro, that's not on any mainstream, whatever you want to call it, radio station, you know. So where are we at in terms of Waiata Māori? I'm not sure, but I'm more interested in where we are as Māori and what we think about ourselves as musos, and what and this is all part of the Pūrangi Ahotanga, let's call it, and this is all part of the journey, bro, that I reckon that is becoming vibrant, bro. Like, you look at the mahi that Ria and all of them have done, Rob with Ria Hall, you got these rangatahi who are coming out and just being so proud in themselves and stuff, and I reckon that's infectious, bro. And I reckon the more and more people like that we can come out, like Bronson, like Ria, and then way down the list, Chey Milne, the better.
Let's you bring up a few valid points, bro, but I want to talk to you. You're someone who's worked in the iwi radio space, bro. Why, like, we know that when it comes to radio play, especially when we're talking the flavor, we're talking YFM, we're talking all of these mainstream radio stations, what are the politics that are hindering Māori artists getting the valuable spin on an iwi radio station? Ka huri pea kia koe e te tuahine e Ria. Let's go with you. What are some of the hindrances? Are we cutting ourselves short here?
Let me just go back to your former partai, and I do want to touch on what Chey was just saying in terms of the reanga that's coming through. They excite me in terms of the progression of Māori music. So it is that we are in a progressive state, like what Melo was saying, but I am excited about the likes of Kahawa. I am excited about what Maimoa are doing, what Sian's doing, what Avondale's doing. I'm excited about these new Te Reo Māori enthusiasts and Te Reo Māori artists, Waiata Māori artists that are coming through. So I do think at that level we've got a really great burgeoning crop of young artists who are coming through and are ready to take the baton. So I am excited about that. So going back to this question in terms of our reo irirangi, is that where
we're talking about, like, why are Māori not playing Māori music? Like, if it's the spin that we're after on radio, if it's radio play that we're after, that's the like, comment and share, that's the money, that's where it's at. Why are we not backing one another up? Why are we not gassing one another up?
Well, koe nā te pātai o ngā pātai, ne? I mean, yeah, why aren't we? I don't actually know enough about that space. I get really bogged down in my own space and my own mahi and my own creativity. I kind of don't try and play too much into spaces that I'm not too aware of, although I probably should. I probably should become a lot more au fait with that. But that's the question. I don't actually know. Brother Chey, have you got any whakaaro around that?
I think that's changing. I think because we've got heaps more Waiata coming out now, so maybe radio stations are iwi radio, and indeed, I don't think outside of my FM and Flavor they would probably want to play Māori songs, but maybe BFM or whatever if they're still around, or George, but I think like maybe in the past it was just that there weren't enough cool stuff, but also it's a double-edged sword. You want more maximum people to listen, and when you've got only Te Reo Māori waiata, particularly if they're not all like amazing, then what are you gonna do? You gotta massage your schedules a little bit to appease everyone, and it's hard. It's hard for stations, and I think that might be changing. I don't know, bro. I haven't worked in radio for a long time, bro, but that might be changing. But for people like like Melo and Ria and everything coming out with more and more waiata, I think that's probably one of the answers, and it's happening, so that's cool.
Is this a little, and that's a good segue into my next question to you, brother Melo. Is the Te Reo Māori market as an artist, as a, well, you can't say you're a primarily mainstream artist, but as an artist who came through the mainstream route, is the Te Reo Māori market a viable space for you to start putting your blood, sweat, and your tears into, to keep creating Māori music, bro? From you've seen, like we've seen how well Pai did. Is this a space you'd want to continue to engage in, brother?
I thought like for me, I feel it's a responsibility now that I've done like one song. I think as an artist, if you have that kind of platform and you've been giving an opportunity, like for me it was an opportunity. I know for maybe you guys, it was the intention before even any of this came to you, if you know what I'm saying. Like for me, it just arose, and then I knew it was my tupuna being like, gee, you need to come up, not like you need to come home kind of thing. So I feel bro, I just went blank. Hey,
talk to us about that journey, bro. You you need to come home. What was that like?
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Like it was pretty intimidating. It was like I had all these emotions because I had never been there. Then I went to my marae for the first time, and I was like, so Bowman, you know how he's a teacher. He like bring I think 2 or 3 of the schools there, so they done this big ass porphyry, and I was just like, bro, this is crazy. This is all for me, and like I just felt this big welcoming, and it was something far powerful than my physical can explain. Like I can't comprehend it physically, but spiritually, it was just like, oh yeah, I saw a lot of things like that that weren't really physical, if you know what I'm saying. Like I could definitely feel my tupuna like just like have had me when I it was a weird feeling, like not weird like in a bad way, but like this is powerful. I look at it as do you know Goku from Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, hard.
Of course, G.
So like I feel as soon as I step foot on my marae, I just turn into a Super Saiyan. Like that's how I can explain it. That's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah, bro. Had you had that feeling before in the creative process of any of your other songs? Had it been that intense?
Nah, man. This was probably one of the most significant moments of my life. Walking back onto my whenua, like, yeah, it's cool to engage and I don't know, impact other people with the mahi that we do. But for me personally, as an artist, or like all that kind of intention that I put out there, it just like slapped me back in the face, but with my tupuna as well. So it's like it was definitely a spiritual moment more than anything, more than musically, more than mentally, more than bigger than Waiata Anthems itself. It was like, whoa, this is some real. That was magic. It was magic. Yeah.
Massive, bro. I just want to keep moving our conversation along. Now we touched on the future of Māori music. Both Ria, Chey, and Melo, I know, will be very excited at the new prospects, the new Māori artists, musicians, creators, composers, singers, songwriters, everything coming out. I want to kind of narrow it down. Chey, talk to me about Akareta and Te Hakura. That's not just 2 girls out there singing a song. Talk to me about the intention behind that.
Well, the intention was, hey, let's do a waiata. That was in the first season. Yeah, it wasn't like it wasn't and it wasn't like it was a crazy like thought out plan. That we're gonna do a waiata. But in terms of Te Nutube, now the girls seem to really enjoy the creative process of the waiata. We're pretty intentional around keeping it within the whānau as well, and of course no filter. Now we've worked with them enough that they're in the whānau. So in terms of pere and the girls and whatnot, they seem to really enjoy it. I feel like they enjoy the presents, getting the presents and the new clothes more than doing the waiata right at this stage. So if we're talking about future, as long as they get some more presents, they probably will want to continue to make more waiata.
I saw they had matching Adidas track pants and tracksuits from the 80s and for the Peke video, which was a bit of a vibe to see how girls rocking the Adidas tracksuits.
See again, bro, that links us back to our Manurewa roots, bro. But you can thank their aunties for that, bro. You know, it's they make sure that they're gonna look good all the time. So yeah, bro, that's the future of Te Nutri, but I don't see it. But again, bro, it's from a whānau perspective, we're pretty it's up to them really. They can decide if they told me, Papa, karau te hi te mahi tēnei, then we'd stop it tomorrow, you know. Me harai te mea kei te āki kia pēnei, ko rātou, I'm sure there might be a little bit of, hey, do you want to do this? And mena raini ka ki rātou call, then we just want to do it. So kei a rātou te tikanga, kei a rāua te tikanga.
Bro, I just want to take you back to Te Mana Kuratahi 2019 that was held in Hamilton. I was judging at the competition there, bro, and that was the first time that I saw the true potency of our kids singing. You had a whole stadium singing in Te Reo Māori, a whole stadium of I think it was 65 schools, 65 primary schools of Māori children singing our babies' songs. Well, there must be some sort of real revitalization in there going on and that sort of thing, bro. Was that intentional, or you're telling me it wasn't? But can you now see that, bro, you know, obviously?
No, well, if we're talking about that show, it totally wasn't intentional. It was Patara was trying to fill time between the prize giving, and they hadn't got their trophies out yet or something like that. So he was like, hurry up. So and I definitely wasn't keen, but Atarete and Te Hakura had already run off. So I was like, oh man, we have to go up. But that was real powerful. It was and from a perspective of you looking out at all the tamariki, all of the kaumātua and kuia behind us, they were dancing and paki-pakiing, for lack of a better term. That was quite a powerful moment. And then you see other people's response to that, bro. So that was the power of music. I feel like that's the power of Te Reo Māori. I feel like that's maybe that's the thing about music that cuts through all languages, all barriers, all ethnicity, whatever the word is. Mena, if it's catchy and if it's mean, you can feel the wairua. So that was pretty cool. That was a powerful moment.
How let's run with that and throw it over to you, Ria. How important is that for music? And this is something that I know that you're big on. Music, like Chey says, transcending demographic, transcending race, transcending color, transcending anything. What did Bob Marley say? When it hits, you feel no pain. Oh, that was a good one, eh? You fellas like that. But you know, like how was that to you? Is that something that you vibe with?
Oh, hell yeah, and then some. I mean, that's the reason why I'm putting, you know, my babies are now in kohanga. You know, that's the reason, because you want them to be able to experience those kinds of moments. You know, being able to be in a room or a stadium like the babies were, full of people singing your own waiata in your own language. I mean, there's nothing more powerful, more potent than those experiences. And you know, we all know that. That's why we do haka. That's why we come from that space. That's why it's easy to transit from that space into this music space, because for me it's one and the same thing. We're just messaging in different ways, telling your stories in another forum, in another way. And for me as well, music says what I can't, and that's where it cuts through. That's where you're able to reach. My thing is always, whenever I'm doing anything musical, whenever I'm in an artistic space, as long as I can reach the ngako of one person, that's my job. Job done. If you can reach the ngako of one person, with your messaging and with what you're trying to achieve, then your job is done. Well, that's what I think anyway.
We brought her name up earlier, and I don't kind of like talking about people when they're not in our presence, but let's kind of go there because it's all over social media, it's all over the New Zealand Herald, it's all over Māori television. Lord and the Te Ao Marama EP. He wahine Pākehā e whakatairanga ana I tō tātou reo Māori I tēnei te wiki o te reo Māori. Let's throw it over to you, Brother Chey. We're going to come to you next, Melo. So get your guns ready, brother. What do we think of Lord releasing a Te Reo Māori EP?
Pal, I'm sure this is why you got me on here, eh, bro? Just so I can fire some shots across the barrel, bro. I actually mihi to her and the courage that requires, bro, and also the te tau I roto I ai anō kia mahi I tērā, ne? So I have no qualms about that, bro. To be fair, there's a lot of people, on the fence as well, bro. And like I said off air as well, that it really how te kupu I tino koa te ngākau ki te kite that she gifted the proceeds of the album to Footsteps of Kupe, the Trails or whatever it's called, bro. That's really awesome as well because, actions speak louder than words. So he pai tērā. However, do I think that is the future of Te Reo Māori? No. I think that that's an awesome bridge for Māori Pākehā relations, and I think that it helps more Pākehā get on the waka. But I don't think that has bearing on Te Reo Māori from a Māori perspective. I feel like mā te Māori anō te Māori e kōrero, mā te Māori anō te Māori e kawe ki tua. And tērā etahi wā me, kei te whanawhana te Māori, kei te hama mā te Māori, kaore te Māori te hihia, but mā te Māori anō te Māori e kōrero. So, and do I think it's the future? No, I think Te YouTube is the future. I think Ka Hall was the future. I think My More is the future. I think, however, I do think that it's an awesome kaupapa that does deserve its accolades and does deserve its reshares on Pukamata.
Kia ora, kia ora. What about you, Brother Melo? What do you make of Lord's 100% Te Reo Māori EP, brother?
Man, to be honest, I just found out about it like a day ago or 2 days ago, so I haven't really processed like a full-on like, oh, I don't like it or I like it, but the way I see it is like it's putting Te Reo Māori on a platform universally where people that might be from like Egypt will be like, oh Lord, I love Lord, what is this language? You know what I'm saying? They didn't, when I went to LA, they didn't even know what Māori was, and I had to tell them, oh, I'm part indigenous from my where I'm from, New Zealand, Aotearoa, and they were like, what, y'all got indigenous people over there? So I feel for the people that have no clue about our country. I think it's a good thing in terms of like getting, like people might research like, oh, what is this? Then I'll be like, oh, this is the indigenous culture of this country that Lord's from, like kind of thing or whatever. So I think it's a good thing. But then again, I agree with the bro Chey. I don't think it's like the future. I feel like the future is like you guys and like Troy Kingi and the ones that live that life. Yeah.
Let's throw it over to you, Sister Ria. What's your thought on the whole Lord from a wahine Māori perspective? Wahine Māori, e kaha nei te kōrero Māori, kaha nei te waiata I roto I te reo Māori. How do you see Lord releasing a 100% Te Reo Māori EP?
Yeah, well, tautoko hau I ngā kōrero kua kōrero hia. Again, like what Brother Chey was saying, I mean, great, fantastic that she's got such a huge platform from which to spring forth from and share our language from. Puta noi te ao. And like Brother Melo was saying, people over in Egypt and places that we've never heard before are now have the ability through Lord, through her millions of followers, to experience the beauty, the might of our language. And kamihi au ki tēnā. Atu I tēnā. Like what Chey was saying, it's our language and it's for us to do what we need to do with it. And I also want to acknowledge that there's lots of trauma around, from lots of our whānau who are unsure about how to feel about Lord releasing this particular album, and I completely acknowledge that. And I suppose in my excited self, being excited that this was happening, I probably didn't think about that or take that into as much consideration as what I probably should have. So I do understand that there are people grappling with the fact that Wahine Pākehā has released this work in Māori and has the support of people like myself, like Rob, like Mace, because we're excited that our language is being put out there. And also the fact that she's had, like, you know, ngā mumu reo, te tautoko i iaia, I runga i tana huarahi. So, yeah, I just want to acknowledge that as well. But I'm grateful that our language is being put out there for the world to see and hear. But yeah, like what Chey was saying, it's for us to do what we need to do with our language.
And no doubt, Brother Chey, you'd be able to talk to that, some of the trauma, the real trauma. And we've seen it on numerous social media posts that whānau are like, oh, come on, guys, don't project your real trauma onto a wahine Pākehā who's just trying to, you know, play her part this week, or those kinds of things. How do you see that real trauma and that projection, I suppose, if we, for lack of better term, if you can call it that, of intergenerational real trauma, and we're kind of using Lord as a scapegoat, I think, to hammer her for, I know, you know, something that happened, you know, through this process of colonization that we've been talking about, bro.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I can't speak for other people, bro, but I know for a fact that, Lord, there is no real trauma. Tērā pē mena he toto Māori o nā te kapai, but there's no real trauma for Lord. There is real trauma for Melodownz when he went to the Māori Music Awards, bro, and he felt imposter. He felt like an imposter, bro. That's the real trauma, bro. And that's the effects of colonization, bro. And so I can't speak for anyone else, but right here in this wānanga that we're having, we're witness to some of that real trauma, bro. And I reckon that's in all of our whānaus, bro. You know, my whānau has experienced it. We all experience it. And again, that just goes back to what I was saying before. You know, there's levels to this, and it's not for me to put down or say where everyone is on their journey or whatever, bro. But this is a tricky situation, and sometimes we can get caught in a ditch that we don't want to actually get caught in, and talking about stuff that really why are we spending 20 minutes about this? You know, I would be much rather be talking 20 minutes about Bronson's journey when he translated in the Waiata and why they use this specific word and te mea, you know. But yeah, bro, that's my whakaaro, bro.
Tēnā koe te tuakana. Hey, kua eke ki te 42 minutes. We've touched 42 minutes, and that time has gone. I thought last night 42 minutes went fast, but tonight has gone fast. Ka nui te mihi kia koutou. So what I want to begin to start doing is wrapping us up, because they tell me that the sweet spot is when you hit 50 minutes. So I want to give us start thinking about some closing remarks, but I want to finish off by giving some insights into the future of the Māori music industry through the eyes of Melodownz, through the eyes of Chey Milne, through the eyes of Ria Hall. Where do we think we are going? Where will we be at least by Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori 2022? Will we be having the same conversation, the same discussion about the same problems, or will we be exalting ourselves to another level, and then we can truly say, yeah, we've made some ground here. We're making inroads here. Ria, over to you.
Yeah, well, this Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori looks a lot different to what last year's Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori looks. And so I think that we are to expect that it will just continue to progress. And there might be some progressions that we don't particularly like and that we will tohe over, but I think the tohe and the tuki is where the maramatanga is. So I reckon bring it on.
Tēnā koe. Over to you, Brother Melo. What's your take on that, my bro?
Yeah, man, I think it's definitely gonna be more normalized in the mainstream kind of realm, if you know what I'm saying. Like I feel it's gonna be accepted by non-Māori a lot more, because obviously you're gonna get the Karens that are gonna be like, oh, I always hear that Maori song on the radio, you know what I mean? But so what? Like, this is you're talking the foreign language here, you know what I mean? So I feel like I feel it's gonna be just keep on going up. If we keep this up, if we keep these conversations and this dialogue open, we keep on pushing the narrative, I feel it's gonna be in a more powerful space than it is 2 years prior.
Have you just before we throw over to Chey, have you experienced any of those Karens that you talk about since you've released your first song translated into Te Reo Māori? Have any of these record executives that you might need to rub shoulders with at any particular point in time, have they been like, oh, why are you singing in that sort of married carry on and all that sort of jazz? Is any of that
man, the funniest thing was the only Karens that I had were Māoris.
True,
bro. But I wasn't like, so because I'm part Samoan, they were like, I got a few messages from I don't know where they're from. I think they're up north somewhere. Like, oh, bro, we never knew you were Māori. We just thought you were coconut, kind of thing. And then so now they're listening to my music. So now they're listening to my music, kind of thing. So I was like, I didn't take offense. I thought it was funny because I know how it is. Like, I've been in situations where it's like back and forth between Islanders or Māoris. But because I'm both, I just stand in the middle and I'm like, I just take it on the chin, you know what I mean? So that was kind of like something that I found bizarre, was like, yeah, it was pretty buzzy, like hearing that, like, oh, true, they listen to my music now that they know I'm a wihongi. Like, that's, to me, that's a win. But it was funny to the way they told me. But, yeah.
What's your Chey? You grew up in a densely in a Polynesian, high densely population of Polynesian cultures, bro. What's your take on hearing that? Ko te Māori tonu e patu ana I te Māori, mo te waiata I roto I te reo Māori, kare.
Yeah, unfortunately, that doesn't surprise me. I think that's just people, bro. It doesn't. I wouldn't limit that to just being Māori. I would say that even there was a time there, bro, where back in the days, bro, we wouldn't probably listen to Melodownz because he wasn't from Southside. So it's the same sort of thing, bro. I don't know, bro. Yeah.
Let's go final comments. What are some final comments that we can leave our viewers, all 779 watching live? I love it. The engagement is through the roof here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. What are some final comments that we can leave our listeners about this platform that so many creative Māori minds are utilizing to get across these really deep messages of can I throw over to you, Ria? I'll keep talking for a little bit so I can give you a bit of time, because what are some closing comments we can give our whānau to understand the level of intention that goes into what we're doing when we're in this creative process to produce something as beautiful as our waiata Māori?
I think that's a key word, bro, is intention. I think we need to think about what the actual intention of the mahi is. And if we think about deeply and properly what the intention of the mahi is, then that's where we can gauge whether something is actually genuine and authentic or not. So that's probably what I want to leave here, is intentionality, to always be intentional with what we do and to suss out the intention and judge it from that point.
Tēnā koe. Over to you, Brother Melo, live from Avondale. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, what the sis said, intention. Like, I think it's important. Like, I know sometimes I'm like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any of these artists that are doing the waiata anthem, but when you do think about, like, are they doing it because you get paid, or are they doing it because they truly want to keep this language thriving? And I think that comes down to the intention, and just learning as well, like. And one thing that waiata anthems taught me was, I had imposter syndrome at the awards, but now I walk around like I could walk into a marae and everyone's speaking Māori around me. I wouldn't be phased anymore because it's in my blood, like it's who I am, and I've just got a longer journey to go. So for anyone watching, if they're kind of like, what's the word? Is it whakama, or like if you're a little bit kind of like it's in your blood, like your tupuna protecting you just as much as they're protecting someone that's fully immersed into Te Reo Māori. So that's what I feel is like, just have that confidence and just know that it's in here. So intention.
Wicked. Over to you, Brother Chey.
I'll answer both of your questions because I didn't get a future part, bro. Come on, man. Anyway,
I don't mind. My bad.
Nah. I reckon, bro, if I can go back to the future kōrero, bro, I think kei noho tātou ka ware he mahi mā tātou mā tēnei reanga nei, ne? It can be easy for us to say the future's in great hands, in the rangatahi's hands, you know, but actually, you know, we can do stuff about that right now, bro. And that's why I call it Whaikōrero Raps, bro. My kōpai Whaikōrero Raps, because tamariki can't Whaikōrero, bro. And there are many layers to this, bro. And one reason maybe why, bro, I look at my little stats, bro, and it's nowhere near the stats that Ria and Melodownz have got, bro. But my age demographic that are listening to my waiata are not kids, bro. They're all my age, bro. And so the generation, the future maybe is multi-layered and multi-generational, bro. And I think that all generations need to be doing their part, bro. Like, you know, the Rolling Stones are still going around doing concerts, bro, to old people, and they're loving it, bro. And so I reckon that he mahi mā tātou katoa. E mā tātou katoa tēnei mānuka e kawe ki tua. And what happens is the disconnect happens is when we all of a sudden just think mā ngā rangatai, but then when, you know, ko mā tātou katoa. So my closing sort of comments would be kia kaha, kia maia, kia manawa nui. I said this before, bro. It sounds cheesy, bro, but you know, koira te mahi mā tātou kia kaha. And you know, and I would want to mihi to Bronson, to Melodownz, bro, for taking the plunge, bro. Sid said that on his IG just the other day about waiata anthems, you know, around what is the intention, bro, as if it's the start of your journey, or then that's fucking mean, bro. But if it's just because you saw it as an opportunity, then maybe we need to have a rethink about that, bro. And so e mihi ana ki a koe, and I mihi ana ki a tātou katoa on whatever journey, whatever position we are in our journey. So tino koa ana te ngākau, kei te puta mai e ne waiata, kei te koa te ngākau. And it's mean too, bro, you know, mean that we get platforms like this, G, that we can wānanga this, bro, with sort of no rules, bro. I don't, you know, you can tell me however you want, you can tell me to shut up or whatever, and this is cool, bro. It's not like we have to wait for we need to wait for TVNZ breakfast to call us up and to do a random awkward show that you probably don't want to do, but you feel like that's probably the only way that you can get some platform, bro. So it's real cool that people like yourself, bro, even though you said karekau or kōiwi waiata, you know, kei a tātou katoa te mahi. Hei koe I tēnei waka ki tua, bro. So well, mihi to our artists, mihi to you, brother, and you know, kia kaha.
I think and just when if you're taking that line of that narrative, bro, that's the exact reason that we created this podcast space, bro, is that, you know, you'll all know I actually interviewed Melo in 2013 at 2013 R&V.
Wow.
Which was buzzy, and he was a part of a band called Third Eye back then. And then I was working for Māori television at the time, and the restrictions, the political input, that, you know, certain people can be interviewed, certain people can only say certain things. This narrative, this dialogue needs to be pushed when we have spaces like this. And I can see I can see the direct correlation between music now. We don't have rich white Pākehā record executives telling Stan Walker that he can't sing in Te Reo Māori anymore. A ka puta ko mate aone, which is a Māori concept that we all know so true, that yearning, that love for a particular person's space or time. Yeah, so
can I just add to that, bro? Aroha mai, bro. And I know you were getting past your 50-minute mark, bro.
Poi ana, bro.
But, the other thing, bro, is, bro, I did this interview for a TV show, and bro, they wanted me to reenact my recording thing, bro. And you know, I've interviewed a lot of artists as well, bro, and I was like, man, this sucks. I hate doing this. And I was reflecting in myself, bro. Like, I was like, fuck, I used to make other artists do this, and it's so cheesy, you know? But like platforms like this, the kupu that comes to me is just way more authentic, bro? And it's actually real. And gone are the days where we feel like it needs to be covered and filled with all of these shots and everything like that, and we've got to reenact, when actually, bro, the kōrero is what is true, bro. And koe nei te kaya te rangatira, bro, he kōrero, bro. And aha ko ngā ngā whakawai a etahi, that's probably why music cuts through, bro, because it's just the kōrero, bro, and it's a mean wānanga, bro.
Well, nā te mea, e te whānau kua hipa noa atu I te rima te community, we might as well just carry on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around to each and every one of you one last time. What is on the cards for Melodownz, the end of 2021 coming into 2022? What's coming up for you, brother?
Well, I don't know if you guys know, but I run like something similar to this, but I try and do it with people that like are in the mainstream. It's called Kava Corner. So
I love it.
Yeah,
So I bring kava, which is like a ancient drink from the Pacific, and I try and get people like John Campbell, like people that have never tried it before, try it and take them out of their comfort zones and welcome them into our comfort zone. So hopefully I'll be doing some more episodes. Fingers crossed COVID gets better. Just working on this new album, writing like a short film for the first time. So just trying to navigate different spaces and that. Yeah, it's been a vibe.
And then if you want to just give a quick plug, where can the whānau find the Kava Corner on social media?
If you just like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, it's Melodownz and everything, my music, my Kava Corner, everything's on my YouTube channel. So yeah.
Wicked. Over to you, brother Chey. Aratau will be keeping you busy into 2022. What's on the cards for Mr. Chey Milne, brother?
Yeah, bro. That's why I only did it, because I had a bit of time in this lockdown, bro. So I recorded it all in the lockdown in our manuhiri room, bro, and then I just put it out in lockdown because I got an email saying that it had cleared its processing on Spotify. So there was no actual like plan around how to release a waiata. I just went like, sure.
Wait, when did you write the album? When did you write the album?
I've been writing for ages, bro. Some of the songs, they've been sitting on my phone for a while, bro. Some I just wrote in this lockdown when I heard a beat or whatever, bro. So it's but yeah, like what Rani said, bro, Arataua keeps me pretty busy, bro. So we got Te YouTube season out, just released this lockdown. We've got more mahi coming out. We're working with rangatahi on an awesome, much like this, bro, on an awesome sex education show, bro, called and that's coming out, bro, because this is all about decolonizing our thoughts around that as well, bro. And there's a whole lot of wānanga that needs to happen around that, bro. We got heaps coming up, bro. So but some of the bros, they message and they want to work and stuff. So whether or not I get some time and we do another album, or maybe actually we do an album, because this was my fun project, bro. It wasn't really. I wasn't trying to go. Here you go, whānau. Here's my album.
Now.
Bro. That's why I was like, why am I on the music one, bro? Put me on the real panel, bro. But yeah, bro. No, it's been a huge learning, bro. So te rapa, ka mahi anō, but again, it's all about the wānanga, bro. For me, bro, if I was to do another album, bro, it would need to be about the wānanga that goes around that, bro. So it would need to be a lot more inclusive and a lot more give people opportunity to be able to unpack the kōrero, bro. Because I just saw one of your things that asked, is there more waiata with more modern kiwa and shit, bro? I'm like, well, there needs to be somewhere that we unpack a lot of these waiata, because I don't know if whoever this person is, bro, but mena ka whakarongo koe, kei roto i aku waiata katoa ko te reo o te naene, harai te mea kei te tō hau I te reo o mua anō hoki, and koera pēr, and koera tetahi atu o ngā take ki ai au, ko Whaikōrero Raps tēnei, ko te whakataurite I te Whaikōrero ki te rap, and I'm just saying that this is Whaikōrero, and koe nei te Whaikōrero, tōku anō Whaikōrero, hei hora ki a koutou, so che.
Oh, massive. And e te whānau, those of you, our viewers, our million viewers around the world, if you see Melodownz and Chey Milne on the same, doing a Te Reo Māori collab in Te Reo Māori, rapping in Te Reo Māori, you know where it started. It started here. The relationship kicked off right here. Over to you, Sister Ria, what's coming up? What does 2022 hold for Ria Hall?
Well, the last 3 years have just been all about babies, to be honest with you. And so, baby number 3, onto baby number 3, and so my world has just been creatively infused in children lately.
Aku I rāna tū.
So that's kind of been my world has completely changed as a result of that. So my whakaaro around things is a lot different. My creative space is heaps different. And nā reira I runga I aua whakaaro, ka mihi ki aku tamariki. Me mihi ki aku tamariki. Because they've given me this opportunity to think not so literally or laterally, but to think really, really wide about things. And so, yeah, for the now, it's just all about my babies, finishing some study. And yeah, I'm writing along the way, so probably release some work next year. But maybe just like how Chey did, just push the button and release it rather than
telling you, I know.
Hey, like that. Oh, bye, bro.
He Māori no
need to fuck around, man.
Hey,
but I do, there is I get what, like Melo, he's got a, we were talking, and you probably do too, Ria, because you're a professional, but like there's like management and stuff like that. You do need tautoko if you're using this as your sort of main gig, your main hustle, and this is going to be your kaupapa. I do think that you do need a team around you, and you do need to have some people who know a lot to support you, and this is probably why Melodownz has been able to do this for a lot longer than one album or one song, you know, bro, because you gotta there is a lot of tautoko that is needed, bro, and so that's probably there does need to be a bridge between what I did, because I'm doing it for fun, and what you, Ria, and Melo do as a profession. There needs to be some sort of a bridge where our rangatahi can learn a lot more about that and an avenue so that they can get into that, bro. So I reckon that is another wānanga that needs to be had for another Taumata Kōrero pal.
Wicked. I think that's an awesome place to leave us. We have hit an hour, ladies and gentlemen, and before Chey Milne steals my host microphone and takes us to 2 hours, let's wrap this thing up. You can get all of our guests at Melodownz on Instagram. You can get the man Chey Milne at Chey_Milne, Arataua _IG. Is that right, brother? Arataua, give them a follow. You can also
just
get our
go to Whaikōrero Raps on Instagram. Oh no, on Spotify.
Search them up, Whaikōrero Raps. You can also get at Ria Hall _NZ. Give them all a follow, a like, a share, everything you do. Sponsor Māori genius, Māori creativity, Māori music. That is us done and dusted. Ladies and gentlemen, you can get us at the Taumata Kōrero, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Te Mea, wherever you get your podcasts. That's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. Kia hoki anora, ki era kupu rongo nui, rawa atu e hoama. Long live the wānanga. I am Raniera Harrison. We will be back tomorrow. Pō Māori. Oh,